Hello YouTube, it's Darthsteve333 here again with a belated pickups video. I've made a few pickups over the last few weeks. I was going to do a video not long after the revival event, Revival the Rivals. Unfortunately it was a bit of a rubbish time. Not the event was fantastic, really enjoyed it, but the run up to the event was a bit iffy. I had car problems, and then following that, pretty much the day after, I started coming down with a bit of a cold, which you can probably still hear. Yeah, I've been sort of off work and so on, and then sort of just trying to get over it the last few days. So back to work tomorrow. I think I'm going to split my pickups over the last few weeks into two videos because it has been a busy time. Anyway, right, to begin, incidentally, a pickup I've made today is, hopefully, you might be able to tell, it's a new old camera. Got it from a cash converters. A little Sony thing, so I can actually see myself as I'm filming now rather than using my phone, so hopefully this improves the picture for everyone. You have to look at my mug in possibly more detail, but hopefully the background, Super Empire Strikes Back, and that is going to be pretty good. So where shall I start? There's not going to be much rhyme or reason to it, unfortunately, because it has been a while since the last pickups video, so excuse me. Where shall I begin? I'll probably start here. I was lucky enough to sort of see that Asda were doing some of their clear outs. They do them every now and again. They don't really publicise them as such, they just sort of get rid of their old stock. So I picked up a few bits and bobs. So these I got for the PS3. I got Terraria and Minecraft. I may trade those in, I'm not sure. I do have them for the PS4 in sort of shabbier condition. These are obviously brand new. I think that was a £5 and this was £3, so I'm umming and ahhing. It might be sort of credit for Dreamcast games and stuff at CEX or not. This was reduced, although it was reduced to pretty much near the going rate. I think this was about £15. This is Recore for the Xbox One, which I've had my eye on for a while. It's meant to be excuse me, meant to be pretty short, I believe, but I quite like the look of it, and my wife likes the look of it, so you know, I thought, why not? I'll get that. Also got for the 360 The Walking Dead Season 2. Again, unsure whether I'll keep that or trade that at the moment, because I think I actually got that through the Xbox Live thing. You know, that you get three or four free games a month, and I think that was on there recently. The last thing is probably the best of the lot. This one was, as you can see, marked up at now £11, and it's Call of Duty Ghosts Season Pass, 4 DLC packs, one great price. However, underneath that, and this was covered in security stickers, it says download Call of Duty Ghosts Season Pass or other content, and it has this 35. So I thought, that could be potentially 35 quid's worth of Xbox credit for 11 quid. And anyway, cutting a long story short, it was. So yeah, once I'd finished cracking it open, I found a £25 card and a £10 card in there, applied them to my account, and then they came in quite useful because Xbox Live had a digital sale. So I got some sort of Xbox Live arcade games really, with about half the money. I probably got about 8 or 9 games off it. Things like Dragon's Lair, which I don't think was ever released physically, Discs of Tron, Ikaruga, which despite my best efforts is still eluding me as a GameCube title, and certainly as a an import Dreamcast title. I would like to get that one day, but the cost of it, probably not. So yeah, I've been playing Ikaruga the last few days, which is great fun, and rock hard, and I'm rubbish at it, but I enjoy it. So right, where to next? Excuse me looking away from the camera, I'm just trying to decide where to go to next. Probably best if I show you some Dreamcast pickups that I got well, off I think Facebook groups, if I recall. No, this one actually I got off eBay. It was a £5, I think, or just under a £5. It's one I actually thought I had, but I didn't. They've got the NBA hologram upside down on it, but it is NBA 2K2. And then these Dream Soccer. This one could have been from eBay actually. UEFA Dream Soccer. And the final one, I do remember this one. This was sent by a chap, and he apologised for not sending it immediately when he said he'd send it the next day. It didn't really bother me. As long as it got here, I was happy enough. But he threw in a free game. So the free game was just disc only, and it's WWF Attitude, which was nice of him. He didn't have to do that. And South Park Rally. So another 3 off the Dreamcast list. Next, a couple of odds and sods. Can't remember where I got this. I think it was yeah, it was a car boot. I can't remember which one. I think it was £1. Jak and Daxter for the PSP. Jak and Daxter: The Lost Frontier. This one I'd been holding off getting, and I saw it reduced to about, what was it? I think I got this from a local game store, which I'll probably return to in the next video. I think it was 15 quid or 17 quid or something, and it's Mafia 3. Seems to have dropped in price quite a lot since I've even got that, so it was only 3 or 4 weeks ago. It seems to be sort of bumping along around about the 14-15 quid mark now, but I'm still happy I've got it. It looks interesting. So right, where to next? Let's show you. Yes, I'll show you this next. In fact, actually, no, I'll show you these. These were off a Facebook group. 3 PS4 games. So to expand my VR collection, I've got Drive Club VR. Formula 1 2016 and Watch Dogs 2, which I think I got fairly reasonably. The 3 of them were not spectacularly cheaper than retail, but good enough. So yeah, I think they equated to about 15 quid each, maybe 16 or 17 quid each, which isn't too bad. So I was happy enough anyway, so that's good. A reduced thing that I've noticed, I'd seen this posted on forums and such like, and if you recall, my mate had given me a controller for this system, if you like, in inverted commas. This was reduced in game to about 17 quid, and I had a couple of quid on my game account, so it cost me about 14 quid in the end. So I got a Steam link. And there it is. Yeah, to hook it up, because I've been thinking, right, before I hook anything up, I'm going to try and get my pickups videos done, and then obviously I'll fall in ill, so great. Anyway, yes, right, okay, on to a few weeks ago, I went to a couple of car boots. In fact, before that, a couple of miscellaneous pickups. This again was from that game shop that's in the town where I work. and this one I've heard it's a bit of a cult hit. It is a PlayStation 2 game. The case is a bit battered, but I'll swap that out. It is Demolition Girl, in which you defend the planet, I suppose, or defend civilization against a mutated 50-foot girl in a bikini. Yeah, I've heard it's, like I say, a bit of a cult hit. That cost me a £5, so I was happy enough to pick that up. I think I got this for a couple of quid from a car boot, and it is Lego Movie the video game. And this I found at a charity shop, which I've never actually seen before. Not the charity shop, the game. The game is called Death Row. Unfortunately there's no manual in it, but there is a disc, and this is what it looks like. I've never seen that, and you know, you do see games round and about, don't you? So if I see a game that I'm not particularly familiar with or don't recognise, I think, oh, I'll pick that up, and yeah, that was one of those occasions. So right, I think that brings me on to pretty much, yeah, we'll do it this way. It's approaching the first day of, or the first booting day of the season of my favourite car boot, which is a bit of a stretch. If you're a long time viewer, then you might recall me mentioning this before. It's about 3/4 of an hour drive away, but I really like it. It's a great big booter, although there's, as with anywhere, a fair bit of competition. You know, the more stalls there are, the greater the chances of you finding something decent. But before that happened, I actually went down the recycle centre, and was quite surprised to see this. I almost walked past it. I didn't actually take it in. I'm not going to get it all out, but it's all in here, and it is a Commodore 16 starter kit, boxed. So everything's in there: the power pack, the data set, I think they call it, the cassettes, the manual, everything. So I've got a couple of Commodore couple of Commodore Plus 4s, one of which I'm planning to give to me sister-in-law. Excuse me. But yeah, I hadn't got a Commodore 16, so yeah, very pleased to have that. So all good. So right, yeah, onto this. Excuse me again. Onto this car boot. So yeah, I was pretty pleased with what I come home with. Some decent stuff. I'll go through again in no particular order what I found. So let's see. Firstly, something that I got for, I think it was 50p. There was a guy selling a load of old stock. You know, these guys that just put stuff over a ground sheet or a tarpaulin and just go, everything's £1 or everything's 50p and so on. I got this for me for one of the PSPs, and it is a 4Gamers 2.0 sound and dock system. So that could be useful if I take my PSP camping with us. I'll set that up on there and watch a film or two. You know, watch a UMD on it, and it should amplify it as well, from what I understand. Next thing, I suppose the two are related. Saw this just on its own on a stall. I gave 2 of these away to a friend, so I was down to the 2 that I got. I thought it's always worth having a spare, so I got a Move controller. So there we go, I'm back up to owning 3 of these now. So if one goes wrong, then I've got a spare. So that was £2. And related to that, this is something that I was really quite pleased to find. I don't think it's ever been out the box. Oh, could be wrong. Anyway, it is a charger dock for the Move controllers, rather than having to plug them into the USB charger, or you know, take up multiple USB ports. I've been looking for one of them, and this was from the car boot, and I think this was £1 or £2 or something. So yeah, very pleased to get that. Another thing which sort of implied that I'd missed out on a Dreamcast or Dreamcast games, I do have one of these already, but you don't see them very often. So it is a fishing controller, for the Sega Bass Fishing. So yeah, I've got a spare of that now as well, which is good. I didn't ask the guy if he'd had a Dreamcast, probably because I didn't want to be disappointed. He might well have said, oh yeah, I had a Dreamcast and I had 100 games with it and I sold it for 20 quid or something, so didn't want to know. I got that for £1. I'm happy enough with it. So a couple of more miscellaneous things. I've got a GameCube controller in pretty good nick. You know, the analog controller stick is not too bad. You often see these really chewed up, but as you can see, it's not too bad. So yeah, that was £2. So yeah, and that gives me 2 black controllers for my black GameCube now, which is good. Got this for, was it £1 or 50p? I think it was £1. It's Scars for the PS1. Never played that one. And I got Gallagher Destination Earth, and I think that one was 50p. So yeah, very pleased to have that. I thought I had it actually, and then I was looking through my my collection of PS1 games not too long back, and I went, oh, I don't have it. That's very unusual. You know how you sometimes watch other people's videos and you think, oh yeah, I've got that, and then you think, oh, do I? And then you look and you find out, no, you don't. Anyway, that was one of those occasions, so I was pleased to pick it up. This one is a battered case, but I know I don't have this one. It is Game Boy Psygnosis. It's blast radius. I think that was 50p. And final PS1 pickup of the day was Elemental Pinball, which, as you can see, is still sealed. You see the seal there? So yes, at some point I'll be cracking that open, because although it's nice to say, oh, I've got a sealed game, well, you know, and I'm not dissing people that do collect sealed games, it's preservation in one way, isn't it? But I prefer to sort of, if I've got a game, to sort of crack it open. Otherwise it's sort of not fulfilling its purpose in my view. Like I say, it is tempting to leave it sealed, but I will crack it open sooner or later. Last one I got, not last one, there's more stuff to come. Last one of that little pile, I got Advance Wars Dark Conflict for the Game Boy. It's not the Game Boy, the Nintendo DS. I'm still under the weather. But yeah, I was pleased to get that. I think that was £2. Right, a couple of newer stuff, a couple of newer things. Oh, actually, this is lurking in the pile. I saw this in CEX, and sorry, I told you it would be flicking around all over the place. I used to have this for the Xbox back in the day, and then I didn't. So I got it for the PS2, but I thought I'll have that, and it's Alien Hominid. Good little game, good fun. So right, next few things, I shall try and remember how much these cost me. I got a Wii Sports for I think 50p, so that'll be trading credit. I got Naughty Bear for 360 for a couple of quid. This one, I remember it got panned when it came out, and I wasn't really a particular fan of wanting to see the film that this is based on as well, but I've sort of warmed to it, because this particular film franchise, you think to yourself, well, they're not going to really make any more with the original cast, because there are hardly any of them left. So yeah, I watched the films in the end, and yeah, they're not too bad. They've done certain things that I'm not particularly a big fan of, but you know, they're entertaining enough. Not a patch on the originals, but I digress. It's a Star Trek game based on the newer films, or the first of the newer films, and I think that was £1 or something. This one, I was a bit disappointed to find it didn't have a manual in, but pleased to get it anyway. I've got it for the PlayStation 2. It is Capcom Fighting Jam. Another original Xbox game, and this is one that I was quite pleased to find. Again, this was £1, and it is House of the Dead 3. So yeah, light gun supported. I did have an opportunity to get a light gun for the Xbox the other day because I don't have one, but sadly that was on a more recent car boot and I couldn't remember which aisle he was down, and by the time I got back there he might well have sold it anyway, so yeah, I missed out there. But there you go, House of the Dead 3. I've got the game now, which is good. Always good fun, House of the Dead games. And talking of light gun games, I've got again one which I had to check to see if I'd already got, and I don't, which I was quite surprised at, because again I thought I'd got this, but maybe I had it first time round. It is the Virtua Cop Elite Edition. I do have a GunCon 2, so good nick as well, manual and disc. So I used to love playing that in the arcade. One here that I picked up out of curiosity because it was 50p. It's by Hunter 2. Then a couple, again, I think my memory's going with my age. I thought I had these for the 360 and I didn't. So after picking them up I was quite glad to find that I hadn't got them. So these will be going on the groaning shelf or shelves of Xbox 360 games. Got Rise of Nightmares, which as you'll see is a Connect version 1 game. Meant to be one of the few good games, and it is a Sega game, so yeah, pleased to have that. And this, I was convinced I got this, absolutely convinced, but as it happened I didn't. So it's Metal Gear Revengeance. Sorry, yeah, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. So yeah, again another one for the shelf. This one I've waited until it's come down in price, and it is PS3, and that is Jurassic World, Lego Jurassic World. I think this cost me £2 or £3, so I was happy enough to get that. And a couple more recent titles. This one I've been looking to pick up cheaply for either the PS4 or the Xbox One, and pleased to get it for £5, which you'll see the price stick is still on there. Wasn't a game in like resellers stall, it was just someone with all sorts, and they just plonked prices on things. Somewhat odd prices actually. There was something, I forget, another Xbox One game which was sort of a similar sort of ilk to this, but it was like they wanted 12 or 14 quid for it, whereas this was a £5, so couldn't grumble at that. This one here really surprised me because I picked it up. I'm actually looking to get this for the PlayStation 4, because you can play it in VR. But when I asked how much it was, I thought, well, I'm going to get this and give it a go and see if it plays well. And it is. It's still got the what's it sticker on the front. It's Dirt Rally. As you can see, a promotional copy. But this was £2. Xbox One game for £2. You can't complain at that, can you? So what's left? What's left? Oh yes. I lied when I said about the PS1 games being the last. I can't recall where I picked these up from. Oh yes, I can. It was Recycle Centre. These were £1 each. I got Actual Soccer 3. I haven't got Actual Soccer 1 this time round, so that was £1. Great big hefty manual in here. Look at that. Maybe it goes into detail on the offside rule or something. But yeah, I remember playing that at the time. I was thinking, wow, this is getting advanced. But yeah, so I thought I'd get that for £1. This one I picked up predominantly because the case is in good nick, and it's always a good idea to pick up these cases when you can. It's Breakpoint, and as you can see, it's one of the double cases. So yeah, £1. I'm always going to pick that up. And this one I picked up as curiosity, really. I saw this and I thought, what on earth's that? I thought, is it a compilation? I looked at the back and it's just a normal standard CD case. Inside you've got demo 1. Not sure if you can make that out. Back again. Not sure what happened there. The vagaries of learning a new camera. It went bink, and I think the recording stopped. So yeah, I was waffling on about this, which was an unusual case with demo 1 in, but it's got another disc in now, and it's got registered user demo 02, which sort of caught my attention, tickled my fancy. So again, that cost me £1 for those two, which is probably a bit over the odds for a couple of demo discs. But also in here there's like a little bit of memorabilia, if you like. There's like a great big questionnaire really about PlayStation and your gaming habits and so forth. So yeah, I thought, why not? £1, it's not going to break the bank. The last thing that I found at this particular car boot, and I'm sure I've missed something, I'm just trying to remember what it might be. Was a particular stall, and it's a guy I've seen before at this car boot, and yeah, I've bought stuff from him before, and it is a decent enough bloke for a reseller. These things are reasonably priced, they're not really cheap, they're not dead over the odds either. And I saw this in a box of cartridge games, and I'd sort of seen it last year and sort of ummed and ahed and put it back, and I saw it again. I thought, I'm having this time. It cost me £10, which may be sort of going rate, might even be a little over the odds, but I've never played it. So I picked up Maniac Mansion for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and while I was there, he got all sorts. He got a very nice NES box system, which he was looking for. I think it was 75 quid for, which I was a bit tempted by, but I was trying to do the sensible thing and not sort of go mad. So instead, I was just like looking around. He'd got a Saturn as well, and some guys were saying, "Oh, how much is that?" And he went, "Which one?" He went, "Well, I'll tell you what it is." Basically, pointed to the general direction of a console and said, "How much is that?" And he went, 20 quid. He went, "Really?" Yeah, he says, "I picked it up as part of a lot. Haven't tested it yet. There's no leads. There's no anything with it. So it's 20 quid because it's untested." So I sort of ummed and ahed, and my wife's been looking for one of these, so I thought, it's a bit of a gamble, it most likely won't work, but at 20 quid I'll give it a go. So the guy was, you know, straight and up front about it. He says, "Look, you know, I've no way of knowing if this works, and obviously I've just put it out in the stall, so you know, it's sold under those terms." So I was like, "Yeah, that's fair enough. I'll take it out and have a look." And it is on its own, no wires, no controllers. It does power up, but I very briefly got a signal out of it, and then it died a death again. Well, it didn't die a death, I just couldn't get a signal out of it. So this is pending some tinkering. It is a £20 Xbox One, which obviously has seen better days. I don't know if you can see the look of it there. It's not looking too bad on that, but yeah, it's a bit scuffed up. I suspect, from having looked into it, it's a dodgy HDMI port. So I'm currently in the process of sort of building up the courage to actually crack it open and have a go at it myself. The sensible part of me is going, why don't you just try and find someone that can fix them locally and take it there, and you've got yourself an Xbox One for 20 quid and the cost of a few wires. I've got a spare controller, and obviously the cost of repair. I'm thinking, I wouldn't mind having a go at it myself, but I do need to develop my soldering and desoldering skills, and I think I probably need a better soldering iron. But, you know, to be decided. Potentially I've got myself a bit of a bargain there, potentially I've got myself a bit of a clunker, so let me know what you think in the comments. Have I been a bit of a prat, or, you know, is it worth a punt? Anyway, I just realised there was a couple of pickups as well that I've missed, again from the same car boot. This was £3, Super Mario Land for the GBA, God, I'm all over the place today, for the original Game Boy. And this was on a stall, and it was just slung loose. I thought, I've heard of these. I said, how much is this? And he goes, what was it a £1 or 50p? I think it might have been 50p. It's a Sky 3DS, which is a slightly, a slightly naughty way of putting images of 3DS games onto this card. Basically, you put a little mini SD in there, from what I've read, and you basically put an image of a game on there. I thought it was worth picking up as a curiosity. I haven't tested it yet or anything, but I come over and had a look at it, and I was like trying to find out a bit more about it and so on. And I nearly fell off my chair when I was browsing the net about it, and it turns out those things are bloody 70 odd quid. Incredible. So, you know, I mean, as you'd probably guess from my pickups videos, I prefer to have the originals. You know, I did my Days of Naughtiness in the Days of the Spectrum, tape to tape and all that. These days I like to have the originals, so I might just move that on. Whether I can sell it on eBay, I'm not sure. I might try and sell it on a local group or something, but I might see if one of the nieces would like it, although obviously they're quite young, they probably wouldn't know how to work it. Anyway, to be decided again. So that moves me finally on to Revival, and I had to go there on the bus and the train because my car was playing up, and I really wasn't confident of being able to get to Walsall and back without the car conking out. You know, it was certainly chugging, and I just thought it wasn't worth the risk. So I'd already bought my ticket for Revival, so I decided to go there by the means, and I'm glad I did, because I saw a few tubers on there. I saw James Wasubi, I think it's pronounced that way. I saw Tootie, Stu, and there was also Cybersnake J. I think because I'd met him briefly last year, and I sort of said, "Oh, hello, mate," and I think he looked a bit confused because I don't think he remembered me. I don't think he sort of watches this channel. Those of you who do, you were part of a small, very select group. Incidentally, thank you for the new subscriptions recently, very much appreciated. I hope you're liking the somewhat infrequent content. Like I say, there will be another video going on not too long after this with pickups after Revival. But anyway, yeah, returning to the Revival event, brilliant, really enjoyed it. As Tootie has said, you know, the organiser Craig Turner absolutely knocked it out of the park. It was a great event. There was loads of stalls, there was lots of old kit to play, a fair number of arcade systems to play, There's some good pinball tables, including my favourite, or one of my favourites, Theatre of Magic, which I managed to get on towards the end of the day. In fact, I was actually on it when the guy turned it off. He says, "I'm really, I'm sorry, but we have to turn it off at this time. We've been told." So I was like, "Yeah, fair enough." So yeah, that was fun. There was Dave Perry of Games Master fame there. I didn't get my picture taken with him. I suppose I got a bit shy. I had the opportunity to, because I missed his talk, which I was really pissed off about. Excuse my French. It's the only problem with those events. You're sort of pootling around, doing your own thing, looking at the stalls, playing a few games and stuff, and then you suddenly remember halfway through that there's a talk going on, and you think, "Oh God." So yeah, I missed all the talks, but I'm looking forward to listening to it on Retro Asylum podcast, and maybe watching their sort of shortened video of it. So yeah, and he also commentated on a little mini Street Fighter 2 tournament, which was good fun. It seems a really nice bloke. So yeah, that was good. So yeah, onto the pickups from there. So probably best to firstly show you my Dreamcast pickups. I got a few more off the list. I'm just trying to sort through what they are. Right, so firstly onto the ones that sort of are the filler titles, I suppose. I've got Sega Extreme Sports. I think that was a £5, and some of the stalls were actually knocking sort of 10-15% off the prices. Excuse me. If you showed your revival card, quite a few of them weren't as well. But yeah, they were decent enough deals anyway, so I was happy enough with that. Another one is NFL Blitz 2000, which I certainly had the first time I had the Dreamcast. Some of these cases are going to be swapped out because they're a bit battered. This is notable because it's the one with no title printed on the spine. However, someone has, or the previous owner of this, has gotten around that in some way and actually sort of cut out NFL Blitz 2000. The only problem is they've stuck it on the wrong way round. If you have a look at the rest of them, you've got the Dreamcast swirl on this side and then the right in here, whereas Dreamcast swirl here, and it's upside down, so I should probably just copy that out. Although my OCD will probably say, but the Dreamcast swirl's in the wrong place, so I might try and address that. Anyway, Ducati World, I inadvertently showed you there. That was £4, I think. So yes, you've seen that. And Railroad Tycoon 2, and probably the two pricier excuse me, two pricier titles. This one I saw twice at the event. It is very hard to find and becoming harder to find, I think. So I thought, right, time to get maybe one or two of the more difficult to find games off the list. So this you would think might be a very generic title that you'd be able to pick up anywhere, 10 a penny, but it seems not. This is GK, Giant Killers, and yeah, the two stalls that had it, there was a little stall, a couple, very nice. They knocked 15% off the price for me, which was good. The original price was exactly the same as Sore Thumbs, and there's two reasons why I didn't get it from there, although I have been in their shop in York and I really like it. It seemed to be a little overpriced because the Sore Thumbs one didn't have the manual with it, and they also said they weren't knocking any money off for the revival card, so it was a bit of a no-brainer really. Pick it up from Sore Thumbs without a manual and not discounted, or pick it up cheaper with the manual from these other guys. So yeah, I got it from there. So that is, I think as Retro Collect says, it's a very rare game, so that's good to pick that up. I got it quite reasonably. I think it was 36 quid in the end, which may sound like a lot, and probably is a lot. In the big scheme of things, it's one of the harder to find ones that I don't have to look for later. Similar to this one actually. This one isn't quite so hard to find, however it is sort of beginning to get up there price wise. This is silver. It's like an RPG. It also came out for the PC, I remember. So pleased to get that off the list. Again, that's another one of the costlier ones, or mid-range ones I suppose, that I don't have to try and find later. So right, that's almost everything apart from my first 3 pickups were all from the same stall, and this is the same stall. If you've watched Jay's Cyber Snakes video, it's the same stall where he got his big thing. I won't mention what it was in case it spoils it for you if you haven't watched his video. But yeah, basically I saw some NTSC Super Nintendo games. I've got the converter, which converts NTSC and Japanese games. So I thought, yeah, why not? I'll go for these, because I'd never played them, despite them being well rated. Never played these. And I thought, why not? They might be a little cheaper because they're NTSC, and I'm glad I asked, because the first one I got, and I literally had a couple of fivers and some loose change in my pocket, because I hadn't had a chance to get to the cash point on the way there. I asked how much it was, and he said 15 quid, and sort of, I don't know whether my eyebrows raised or anything, but I thought, I'm sure that's probably got to be more than that. Anyway, the little money I had in my pockets was soon emptied, and I went and got him to give us this for 15 quid, and it is Turtles in Time. A good little game from what I've played so far. Fun. I went back later to see if another couple of things that I'd noticed were still there, and they were. And the PAL game was sort of priced more highly, as you might expect, and the NTSC game was again pretty reasonable. So I still think I did, you know, I got a real bargain with these two. Because he says, well, NTSC one 15 quid, the PAL one 40 quid, so 55. Best I can do is 50. And I ummed and ahed, and I sort of went for a quick walk round the block, as it were, of tables, and I thought, you're not going to see these any cheaper than this, potentially ever. So I went back and thought, what the hell. So the NTSC game that I effectively got for either £10 or £15 is Contra 3, the Alien Wars, and the PAL game that I got is Sunset Riders. So yeah, that cost me either 40 or 35, depending on whether whether the Contra cost 15 or 10. So yeah, I spent a few quid more than I was intending to at Revival, but I think I did really well. So yeah, it was a great event, really enjoyable, and I stayed there till the bitter end, as you guessed from my pinball short story. So yeah, I'm already looking forward to the next one. Probably dangerous when you see sort of good bargains like I did there. It's very hard to resist sometimes. So anyway, that concludes this particular video of pickups up to and including Revival. There will be another video going up fairly soon with pickups since Revival, and there's some reasonably good stuff in there too. So I will crack on and sign off for now. So as I mentioned, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to the new subscribers, and for all my existing subscribers for staying subscribed and for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll sign off for now. So it's Darthsteve333 signing off. Bye bye.